What's going on, everybody? As you can see, we have a guest who I just clicked on, and we're not ready for him. But so this is it. This is the Old Guy in the Club podcast. I've been thinking about doing something like this for a while, and figure we don't have much to do these days when it comes to stuff like this. So why not do it now? Why not? So just a little bit about what we're going to do and talk about here. Obviously, I'm not that old, but I am older than most of you people that we hang out with in the clubs and stuff like that. But I was thinking about a name for this for a long time. Just kind of thought I would do something like this. And then I was talking with a friend of mine a couple days ago, and it just seemed like the right name. Just for a lot of different reasons that we can, we'll get into eventually. But just because I'm old and I'm in clubs a lot, because that's what I do. Obviously, I think most of you guys know me. I would think all of you guys know me if you're tuning in this first time. So one thing I want to say just before we get started. Well, first of all, hello to the chat. I see a lot of people saying hello. Not so much from Facebook. I don't know if there's an issue there getting here from Facebook, but Twitch is the way to go as far as I'm concerned. It's such an easy platform to navigate. If you're on Facebook, say something in the chat so I can know it's working. If not, at least you can hear me. That's good enough, I guess. There we go. There's my brother and Mr. Romeo Reyes. What's up, Facebook? So I guess I should give a little bit of a bio about myself. Like I said, I think most of you guys know me, but I am the old guy in the club. My name is Justin Zotz. Been around forever in nightlife, and I own a talent agency now called the White Label Agency. And a lot of you Twitch people that have seen some of the shows that we've been putting on, White Label and Friends and White Label Sundays. So that's kind of what I do with my time now that nightclubs aren't really booking my DJs, but hopefully that changes soon, and we can all get back to somewhat normal life. But that's about it for me. And I logged in with a good friend of mine, Rob Zilla, who popped his head in there for a split second. I'm going to introduce Rob right now, and then we have another guest who's going to join us soon after that. But let's bring Rob in right now. Hello, Robert.
Had to unmute myself. Hi there.
What's going on, man? How are you?
It's a beautiful day.
Say hello to the fans, to the chat.
Dude, we've got like 17, 18 people on Facebook. So hi, Sheldon Chang. Hi, Bobby Reyes. Hi, Romeo Reyes. Hi, Steve Kramer. And hi, Jamie. Look, we got a nice little full house there on the Facebook Live. So 14 amazing people so far. They're like the cornerstone of this.
Nice. So obviously, you've all figured it out by now that Rob is much better at this than I am, because this is what he does for a living. He's on the radio.
Yeah, generally I'm on the radio
here
in San Diego, and I do some other stuff too.
Yes, you own an incredible deli that I frequent when I am down in San Diego, which isn't that often these days. But I was there feels like last week, but it was like 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're in San Diego, this is going to be a shameless plug for you, not me. Go to Crossroads Deli when they get open, which is not now.
Which will probably be in early July.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So Tommy says hello to me and Uncle Zilla.
Yeah.
Tommy
would be your son.
Yes. I was going to say one thing I did not say about myself is that I have 2 kids. And that's what I do when I am not crazy busy. So when I'm not busy, I'm more busy than I would normally be. So one thing that I would like to kind of do with all our guests is just kind of talk about how we met.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to tell us. I think it's funny, the story from my point of view.
It's all you. It's your show.
So back when we used to run some nightclubs in San Diego, shut up, Marty Rock. I'm going to comment on the chat too as this stuff comes in. But we used to run some clubs in San Diego, and we had a performance by 3-6 Mafia, and I wasn't really talking to the crew or anything like that. I was just kind of hanging around, and one of the people with their crew was, well, obviously it was Rob, and I didn't know who he was. I thought he was their security because he is he's not a small guy. Neither am I, but neither is he. So I don't know how long it was, probably not very long, but we became friends, and I thought for a long time that he was 3-6 Mafia security, which was not the case. He was just friends with Eric, who was one of their DJ. Yes. Yeah. Who haven't seen him in a while, but I see him pop up on Facebook every once in a while. But anyway, so that's how I know Rob. So why don't we bring in our third guest? He's waiting patiently. And when he pops up on the screen, a lot of you guys are going to recognize him because he's literally streaming on Twitch like 24/7. So let's bring him in, and there he is.
Hey guys,
Neil Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I one of the old guys in the club?
Definitely.
Well, compared to the people we're friends with, I think we're all the old guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Neil and I work together, but more importantly than that, he's one of my dear, dear friends, one of my best friends in the world. But, we work together. I book him all over the place, except not in his living room, which is where he's been playing lately. Or actually his bedroom, sorry.
I think all of us are. All the DJs that are paying attention to this, all of us are.
Yes.
Except if you live in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that later. I think I saw a picture. Romeo, who's in the chat, is in Arizona right now, and I contracted the coronavirus just by looking at his geotag on his Instagram post from that place. That's not interesting. But so Neil I've known for a long time, and he grew up in this business. He's done a lot of things in his life, and he just always brings a really unique perspective to any conversation, which is sorry for my phone ringing. I'm new at this, so I didn't know to turn my phone off. But this interesting human being is calling me. I don't know if everybody knows Chris Masterson. He is another guy. He is a guy that never
into the chat.
He never answers the phone when I call him, and this is like the one time he's ever calls me.
I think you need to bring him in the chat at some point.
Absolutely.
He might be like calling me, "Get off! You sound like an idiot. Get off!" But I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've sounded like an idiot. So anyway, but man, definitely not the last. Especially if we're going to do more than one episode of this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which there's probably a very small chance of that. But if we actually make it to episode 2, I'm sure I'll start pissing some people off. But so, Zilla, born and raised in San Diego, well, I shouldn't say you never left. That is very
I've lived all
incorrect of me. So Zilla's lived in Philadelphia, New York, and LA. I think somewhere in the Midwest, Minneapolis, right?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That's right. That's right. I totally forgot about that.
I was the Arab guy there.
Wait a second, you're not white?
We're going to get into that topic a little bit later. But yeah, the answer is apparently not. I honestly don't know. Because I'm not. Look at this. There's absolutely. But according to the governmental paperwork, it says that I am, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
I just think you look like a more handsome Jean Reno, if anyone knows who that is.
Yeah, a very more and a much heavier Jean Reno. That is true.
Shout out to DJ Audio One in the chat. It's our guy. We're going to talk about him later too. He's coming up in one of our little segments that we're doing. So Neil, you grew up in Pomona.
Yeah, Pomona, California, SoCal.
I know nothing about Pomona. So
Pomona is home of the Cholos, the Crips and Bloods, and that's about it. But it's
so is Guy in Red allowed to show up there?
Guy in Red.
No, you don't know Guy in Red? Mr. Marcus Lee?
He could only roam around half the city.
Right.
Okay.
Other half, don't go down there. But it's about like an hour east of LA. So.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All you Twitch people that follow all the streams that we've been doing probably know who Guy in Red is. If not, check him out, DJ Marcus Lee, from the Bay. So what brought you to New York, Neil?
It was just one of those things. Yeah, right. Barely. It was going to be a car actually, and then I was like, you know what? I don't need any of this stuff. I'm out of here. So I don't know. It's just one day I woke up, and at the time, Arnold Schwarzenegger hasn't been in office yet. He was claimed it was like a really bad job market. I lost my job out of a job for like about 2 years. And then one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get out of here. I've done everything I can in Southern California. So me, Vice, the Baker Boys, a bunch of us threw a going away party for me at a soon to be strip club at the time. My friend just gave me the keys and was like, go ahead. We'll give you a bunch of money. Just throw a party here. Made a bunch of money, bought a ticket the next day, and I was out. Slept on a couch for a year. So
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So
what's up?
Nice. So we all, Zilla lives where he was born, but you and I live in different places. I live in Park City, for those of you that don't know, in Utah. I was born and raised in New York. Lived there most of my life until I moved to Sun Valley, Idaho, which is, I know no one knows where that is or what that is, but there's a lot of snow and a lot of mountains. And I've made my way across a few different cities, including San Diego and Vegas, but now I am again in Park City for now. We may not be, but we are for now. We'll figure that out later. So just to touch again on kind of what the show is going to be about, these two guys you're looking at are going to be heavily involved. They might not be in every show, but they'll be popping in and out. They're just, two of my dear friends and between the three of us, I'm pretty sure we know every person in America. If anybody could say to us, "Hey, audio," that might be the next episode.
Speaking of people that we know, I just want to say hi really quick to Kalika, who just signed in. Hi, Kalika.
Hey.
There she is. Kalika, we should bring you in later on the chat.
Also, hi to Merritt Powell, owner of La Puerta in downtown San Diego. He's on board as well. So it's really cool to see him there.
I love La Puerta. When I first moved to San Diego, first of all, it's the first restaurant I ever went to in San Diego. Then, if I'm not mistaken, they do half-price tequila on Mondays or something like that. So maybe it wasn't half price. I just remember paying like $12 for 1942 and then being miserable the next day.
How much does 1942 cost now?
Depending on where you are, maybe $40. In certain places.
I quit at the right time.
Yeah.
I picked up for you.
Yeah. Kalika, I don't have makeup on either, so
yeah,
no
that
excuses.
Makes three of us.
Now we're working on an episode where we talk about the reopening of Vegas. So that is definitely one we're going to want you on, and we have a couple other people in mind too that you're friends with as well. So that's going to be fun.
Merritt just chimed in with, every Monday was happy hour all night.
Yeah, and it was one of the few places that served food late night in San Diego back in the day. I'm sure it is now too, if they're open. But Merritt, love that place. Thank you for many hangovers.
We'll do a reunion there soon. Next time we're all back in San Diego, we'll definitely make that happen.
Yes. So one of the things I wanted to touch on before look, today's going to be very informal. We don't know. Look, these guys know what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I figure this could possibly be fun and entertaining for people that we know, maybe for people we don't know. So I think we're just going to wing this a little bit, and I'm not going to sit here and say the next show will be this day, but I can tell you it's going to be next week. We're gonna make sure we do this every week to start at least. I don't know if it's going to be every Friday, every Saturday, but we'll figure it out. Oh, look at that! I just put a banner on the bottom. See, I'm not a technical wizard,
dude.
But
you are getting really good at this tech stuff.
Wait till I come up with like a theme song and stuff like that.
I I was just going to say, and when we talked about this off mic or off camera, we definitely said that we wanted this to be as interactive as possible. We wanted to engage with as many people that want to engage with us. So if you're listening and you're watching right now and you've got ideas on topics that you want us to touch on, please let us know, because that's the whole point of all of this. It's technically your show. Well, it's your show, Justin, but you know what I mean.
I don't really think of anything in my life as mine, except maybe like my dog.
Kids?
He doesn't like me half the time either. So the guy in red we were talking about a little while ago, I just popped his comment up on the screen. That's his advice for. Can everybody see that on the screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't know if this stuff really works, but I guess so. So what I was going to say was, looking forward into future episodes of this and maybe where this show goes. Who knows where it's going to go? But I plan on bringing in fun people just to kind of hang out with us. Just like if we were having a meal or, hanging out at a bar or whatever, drinking some beers or coffee for Neil. And we'll bring in some cool people, not
us.
How did we slip through the cracks?
I mean, the cool thing is, I think we could all probably write a book. Just not anymore. We're just boring. Well, we'll get into Neil's interesting chats lately on his streams and stuff like that. But yeah, so the end goal of this thing is to not just talk about nightclubs and music and getting drunk and all that stuff, which it's all fun and we all love it, and that's why we probably have all the friends we have. But there are people that we would love to bring in, whether they're actors, comedians, finance guys, whatever they are, they're friends with us, and they have interesting opinions on stuff. Let's do it. And the only thing I ask of everybody, and this is, everybody's welcome. Come chat. Shut up, Blue. It's like all my high school friends. Chat. Get in the chat. Have some fun. Just be respectful. I don't mind if you have a different opinion than me. Just don't be a dick about it. That's kind of my job, is just to be the dick. And Zilla will too, but just not in a different way.
Speaking of which, hi, Todd McCandless.
Todd is in.
That was a perfect segue.
Yeah, for people being a dick. Yeah, I think you're right. Are you in San Diego, Todd? Or are you back in Hawaii, living in the tough life? I know there's a delay, so I say that and then I gotta wait.
It's gonna take him a minute. I'm gonna answer for him. He is in the South County. He is in San Diego as we speak.
Oh man, that's too close for comfort. Even though I'm in Utah, that's too much. Oh wow, look at that! Amazing. You hear that noise?
Did we get a tip?
I just got a follower. Amazing. It's I don't know why it's not over here. It's over here in this other computer.
I'm gonna drink my effeminate White Claw in honor of your new follower.
Here's what I'm going to do.
On with this White Claw thing. That was Neil, the drink of quarantine.
We can get into that, but before that, I just got a follower.
Nice. Well, shout him out.
Oh fuck! His name went away already.
All right,
Thank you to whoever that was. I'm not good at this. See, I need you to produce this show, Zilla.
We'll make it happen.
You know what? Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about that's shit.
Maybe that's like my line after we do the initial 15 minutes of bullshit. Let's get into it. Anyway, so let's talk about quarantine. Obviously this sucks. It's pretty much over in most places in the world. This was never fun for anybody. Nothing good. I'm going to take all of that back. It sucked for everybody, but some good can come out of this. Okay. We learned about some new ways to grow a career. Obviously, let's talk. Okay, I got who's that? Is that Matty Long? Is that Matty Long you want some photos of Zotz behind the bar? Yep, that was me a long time ago. Out of this quarantine, there's some people that have really made progress in their careers and their lives. I know a lot of friends of mine that have gotten super healthy during this. I can speak for me and Zilla that it's not us, but I know Neil. I know Neil. Neil, you dropped a bunch of weight, and you're feeling good, right? You're eating healthy.
It was purely by accident, but I dropped about a little over 20 pounds, close to 25 pounds.
That's crazy. So, and you haven't left your bedroom since March.
I have not. These webcams and my CDJs have kept me in my room.
And your surfboard.
And my surfboard. That has been that and my Jesus candles have been all people have seen. So yeah, I've just been here cranking away. It's just been an interesting time for quarantine.
No kidding, man. No kidding. So I think, I've been obviously cooped up and haven't been able to really work and get any gigs for the guys I work with. And a couple of the guys, Neil being one of them, and then E-Rock, have really been taking this live stream thing seriously. And, some of the other guys have been doing it a lot. And, Clayton had a baby, so he hasn't been totally into it as much as I'm sure he'd like to. And then Romeo just got into it recently. And everybody's doing great. And it's pretty interesting that there's some guys that Marty, I don't really know, man. That's a good question. Let's put that one up on the board real quick.
It's a legitimate question.
Marty, I don't live in Marty, you're like Mr. New York. I don't live in the meatpacking district.
I just read that in Marty's voice. If you know him, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, we're getting him on a show one of these days. So I mean, the DJ live streaming thing wasn't. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it was a thing before this quarantine.
I mean, a few people did it, but it wasn't what it is right now.
And I mean, I think we all know that, hey, another follower, Ryan Benjamin.
Who is it? Shout out. Thank you. Ryan Benjamin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me just say hi, Ryan Benjamin. One of the most talented artists, and his brother Joel is on the stream as well. But Ryan is one of the most talented artists in the world. So after this webcast, guys, go Google search Ryan Benjamin, and you're going to see some amazing stuff. One of the most talented comic book artists out there in the world today.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, cool. Seriously, like his stuff is next level, guys.
I'm going to just put him up there real quick, just so you can see how smart I am. I didn't know that his full name was Ryan Benjamin. I took a guess.
You would do really, really, really well on Wheel of Fortune.
All right. So what were we talking about? So, I mean, look, these DJ streams really didn't exist. And then, D Nice kind of put everybody on the map, which is really cool. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know the story of how long I know him. And Derek has been, he was a rapper a long time ago and a producer, and he never really was a DJ before. And I'm not going to go into the story of how we met and how he started DJing. That I'll save that for another episode. Hopefully we can get him on one day. But I mean, he went from DJing in his living room, and I think he had 100 or 200 people watching one day, and legit 4 days later, he had like 100,000 people watching his stream.
It was bonkers.
It was just bananas. And he went from 180,000 followers on I think it was a Tuesday, which is obviously a lot. That's not a small amount of followers. I think I have like
significant
1,000.
Number.
Right. But I mean, in 4 days, he went to 2.2 million. And I don't know the exact number he's at now, but it's like something ridiculous. And, the cool thing about what he did was he didn't do it for that. He just did it to make people dance and get out there and have fun and not be miserable being in their houses. And, that one stream that he did where he had over 100,000 people, it was just insane. It was like Michelle Obama and Lenny Kravitz and Oprah.
Mark Zuckerberg was in there
Mark
too.
Zuckerberg, like Joe Biden was in there.
I mean, all people I hang out with on a daily basis, and it was so cool for them to go check out these set. I mean, it was
you sent the text out, and they were all over there.
Like, where are you guys at? And then they're like, "Oh, we're hanging out with you."
So, but in addition to guys like, a guy like D Nice who had some notoriety before, I mean, a lot of notoriety. I shouldn't downplay it. You have guys like that were also working club DJs around the country, guys like E-Rock, Neil, DJ Scene, that they found a new outlet to get people to listen to what kind of music they want to hear, which is the coolest part about it for me. Because you can go to a club in Vegas and not me per se, because I'm in this business and I know a lot, probably more than the average person. But most people, if they went into Vegas and they were in a club, in Vegas, you have to play a certain way, or in a nightclub, you have to play a certain way. And if you had a blindfold on, most people couldn't tell who was DJing. Now, with these live streams, it was really cool that you can come in and Neil does a show every morning at some ungodly hour of like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. And he plays a couple hundred songs that I've never heard of. And I ask him to send them to me, and he never does.
No, absolutely not.
That's real.
You got to tune in tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but you got to tune in the next day.
Yeah. So it was just cool to see people, kind of finding their own way in this whole thing. Guys like Miles Medina, that, Miles has been around for a long time. A guy like Audio One, who's in the chat. Shout out to Audio One. These guys have been playing forever. And, I've been a talent buyer a lot of my life, and I booked these guys at Infusion in San Francisco. And, we know them for a long time. And then you guys now get to see them every day coming, in your living room. And they're playing just so totally different. And it's really cool to see. And I've been talking too much about this. So what do you guys think about this, Neil and Zilla? And the chat. Get in there, chat.
You want to take this one first, Neil?
Yeah. I mean, when it first happened, like, none of us knew what to do. D Nice kind of lit the fire and kind of walked us through the whole thing. And an interesting thing happened within that. Because everybody said, I mean, when it first happened, a lot of the DJs were saying all the the main stage DJs and bedroom DJs are now bedroom DJs. And it was funny, but there was a lot of truth behind that. And so all of us ran for technology and tried to figure out a way, especially with D Nice breaking those numbers. Before the verses didn't even exist. Like, he was hitting the highest numbers. And that's when we realized that we have to reach out to these people from our apartments or houses. So, but also with that, there was a lot of other layers of change that happened. Some of the big guys now, it basically leveled the playing field. And the guys that really started moving the needle now weren't the ones that were moving the needle before. And you're actually seeing a lot of the guys that came from the shadows and really flexed, but it's also, even with me, when I jumped on, I was doing my club set, not realizing that in quarantine, I have become a better DJ than I ever have before. And me and Vice were talking about that, because we have to literally push the envelope on the stuff that we're actually known for and what we're known for in quarantine. So it's been an interesting time, and it's addicting. I mean, I jumped on it. I jumped on it because New York, I live around 4 hospitals, and all you heard was sirens. And I had multiple panic attacks, and DJing live stream, that's what took me out of the shithole that we were in. So it's just been an interesting time. Interesting to see some of the guys that are really pushing through.
What do you think, Zilla, from the kind of the outside perspective?
I mean, from both the outside and the inside, you, as you mentioned earlier, you go walk into any nightclub and it's a lot of the same. And I think in terms of leveling the playing field, it allowed and forced DJs to really show off their artistry. There is a lot of art and to, going back and digging deep into the crates and bringing back those records that just make you say, oh, wow, there's just more of that. And what what I'm seeing with the guys like E-Rock and Neil and Vice and so many of the other ones that we've mentioned is that they're playing to a very specific, more intimate audience. Even though it's broadcast to the masses, it's more one-to-one, it's more interpersonal, and I think it's more meaningful. So DJs that people may or may not have engaged with or interacted with in the nightclub scene, people are getting that opportunity to engage with them and make that connection through their live streams and chats. So, I mean, I think it's great. I think
Well
that
said.
once things start coming back, folks are going to have a fan base that they may not have had before, and folks might take those steps to go out and engage and interact and support them in the live venues just as much as they did through the internet streams.
Yeah, and one thing we're going to talk about on a future episode, if anyone comes back, is do DJs now, when they go to play a club in Vegas or New York or LA or wherever, a high energy club, do they need to change their set, or do they go back to the old just play the hits? Can you now get away with playing some stuff that maybe you couldn't get away with before? But that's something we'll go ahead.
Okay. Oh, no. I mean, the question is, what are the hits now? But I guess that is a whole nother conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, and first of all, shout out to DJ Vice. I didn't mention him earlier, but he's just, can't have a conversation like this without mentioning his name.
Absolutely.
I have to also mention another thing. As a DJ, it's actually pretty interesting. The network that we've built amongst each other. There's like a camaraderie now that wasn't there before amongst the DJs. Like, we are all helping each other. Whereas, especially with Twitch, it's designed where we are actually stronger together than we are separately. Whereas in the real world, we're all competition to a certain degree. So, but here it's like, we have to all help each other. Like, me and Audio work together a lot. Marty, not so much, but we will soon. But yeah, it's interesting, and a lot of friendships have been developing through this. So
yeah, and I'll piggyback on that, and I'll tell you, by the way, that's Rob's sister that I just put up on the screen.
Hi, Jen.
Oh yeah, I'm like waiting for her to say hi. What an idiot. Okay, yeah, I'm not new. I'm not new with this. I'll piggyback on that, Neil, and you guys both know this. We've had some roundtable, or not roundtables, more like Zoom chats with myself and other agencies around the country, and some of the key players from these agencies. We all jump on a call and we talk about challenges that we see in the future, or challenges that we're having right now. So yeah, I mean, it's good to see that people are coming together on a lot of this stuff. I mean, look, we're all friends and competitors anyway, and that's totally awesome. Like, I love that part of it, that, even though someone might own a separate agency from me, we still hang out when we're in the same town, and we go to lunch and dinner and have drinks, and, that's great. And just, one more thing on top of the, I forgot to mention it earlier, is one cool thing that I got a follower.
Hey.
Oh no, don't go away. I got to log in. What happened? Roche.
Oh, Roche.
Neil, you want to talk about Roche?
No. Roche is a very, very talented, very eclectic, but very talented DJ in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's like the godfather out there.
Shout out to Charlotte,
North Carolina.
That's a name that I've had a lot of conversations with Neil over the years. And if I'm looking for a certain type of energy for whatever it might be, like a mix or something like that, and I want something that's not just the hits, or not just fist pumping music, he always brings up Roche every time.
Roche's a beast.
Hey, Justin.
Yes.
I wanted to just bring up, first of all, I wanted to say hi to Mike Kinsella, Rob Brown, Matt Compton, and Sydney Sampson, visiting us from the Netherlands, and Eric DeBoard, who are all in the Facebook room. But Jenna2882 on Twitch hits us up and says, these streams are next level. We've all become insomniacs because of it, because not only do we hear music, we hear stories too. We love to hear the backstories. DJ's personalities are up front and center. We've also become familiar with the same people in the chats, so it's brought the community closer together, supportive of each other. And I think she nailed it right then and there. So thanks, Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna.
Jen is awesome. Jen Jen is all over the chats with all our friends. Romeo, E-Rock, Neil, my streams, like she's just been around and it's been great. She's always,
thank you for supporting, Jenna.
Like a great addition to the chat. So yeah, thanks for doing that, Rob. Hey everybody, all the San Diego guys and Sydney in the Netherlands and Eric DeBoard in a basement somewhere, probably
in Arizona, reading a book.
All right.
A quick question to the chat. Can everybody put their cities in the chat? I'm just curious on where everybody is listening or watching us from. And Roche, I'm not bowing down to you, dude.
And one thing, while we're waiting for these cities to come in the chat, I want to mention, and I meant to mention it earlier, is one of the cool things about these live streams is I've learned about DJs that I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
Is that mine that just beeped? I am so sorry. That was like, I got to quit my messages. That was not cool. I have discovered, not for me, but people have told me about certain DJs that are on there and killing it. And I go, can you guys hear that?
No.
Oh, no. Well, that's good. Okay. Then I forget it. But, just to name a couple, a guy named DJ Heavy out of Chicago has been crushing it. Guys, I'm telling you right now, he plays like every night. Go to his Twitch. You feel like you're in a nightclub. I'm telling you right now, like you will get hyped up. You'll have a couple drinks. It's actually like fun, like high energy. You will enjoy it. And a guy that I have, Neil mentioned to me, and then I checked him out, and I literally listen to him every day during the week, is Get Live out of New York.
Yeah. And
he just crushes it every day. So check those guys out. So one thing I want to talk about real quick, and we don't have to get too into this. Some of these chats that are coming up on these streams, especially later at night, are getting ridiculous. And they're getting almost inappropriate. Well, definitely inappropriate.
Elaborate, but for those that don't know, touch on it a little bit.
No, I'm not going to do that. You can make assumptions.
Okay.
But look, that's how people become friends, and you have stupid conversations, and you find out who people really are. So where I was going with this was chat relationships, like not any sexual relationships or anything like that. Just people that made friends in chats, and I guarantee you, when we start going back out to clubs or in Arizona right now, people that met in DJ chats, I really believe that they're gonna meet in person. Now they might be they totally might be nerds, and they might have no social skills whatsoever. And I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how that happens when we get back out into the real world. Neil, I want you to talk about. Oh, go ahead, Zilla.
It's the AOL chat room of the current generation. I mean, for us Gen Xers, that was what the AOL chat rooms were 20 odd years ago. It's the exact same thing. It's history repeating itself. The only difference is that this time around, everybody's communing around music. And
I appreciate you using your AOL chat for this chat. That's how great your picture is.
And if anybody needs an extra 1,000 hours, just let me know and I'll send you a disc.
Look at
for the young people in the audience, they have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, this is so good. So Neil, you want to touch on that?
I was actually going to say it until DJ Darth Vader just wrote it. Yeah, I've actually, in my streams, I've actually seen ASL as a legit question being thrown out there. I mean, it's a legit question.
Neil, I'm stopping you for a minute to give Darth Vader a shout out in the chat. He is doing some super interesting streams as well. He has the biggest green screen I've ever seen in a feed. And I like him way better than you already.
All right.
He did a Yacht Rock set last week. His Yacht Rock set last week was incredible.
Shout outs to Connecticut. That's where you're at, right, Darth? But yeah, it's these chat rooms later in the night. It's almost like only some of us will know this. BET Unplugged, but It's basically, it just gets like last night I was on till about 3 a.m. East Coast time. And it just got raunchy. People were just asking questions, doing polls. It was insane.
Yeah.
So, and it's surprisingly, it came from the girls.
Well, not really surprisingly.
I mean, we are in quarantine, so I get
People
it.
have needs.
I get
Shout out to RJ in the chat.
What up, RJ, my brother?
All right. So
Audio One was there too.
Yeah, last night was pretty bananas on yours and Iraq's. But I think Iraq was before you. Both were pretty good. So
Audio, do the recap in the chat. He did it last night, and it just blew up after that recap. So going past that, we could talk about that for days. Seriously. Here's my question to Neil. Let's start with you here. I know the answer to this question. Well, what a terrible way to segue into a question. See, I told you I'm new at this. So is streaming here to stay? Yes. It's going to change again outside of when we get out of quarantine. It's going to change again, but a lot of people learned it. And a lot of people are consuming entertainment in a completely different way. But I've also realized, because I've gotten pretty tight with the people individually in my chat, in the streams that are like the regulars. And some of them don't even necessarily go to clubs. This is actually their version of a club, which is, whatever, social interacting.
I'm just putting that up there so we can touch on it after.
No, that's an interesting question. I mean, I've thought about that for quite a while. But it's interesting. But in a way, there's so many things, and this is why I got so into the virtual DJing, because people are constantly following each other and these audiences are building. This is an amazing way to actually gain an audience when we're already in the music industry, and Sydney might be able, to touch further into this. In the music industry, we rely on the digital world, and with the streaming numbers and analytics behind that, that's one thing. But this helps you, when there's virtual music festivals, there's an audience out there, and these audience you can actually build outside of SoundCloud, outside of Spotify, and you could perform live. You could test out songs that you didn't think that you would be able to do it, that you may or may not think that it has legs, just to see what the reaction is. I mean, I tested one of my songs out and it got great response, and so it's just interesting. And I think it is here to stay. It's just going to change. It's going to change direction again. But now that people have learned Twitch, have learned Instagram Live and stuff, it's just changed the way people consume entertainment now.
Yeah. Huh.
In a mass scale, not
right.
Just...
Hold up. Big shout out. My sister-in-law Jess just followed me.
Nice.
Hey.
Did you want to touch on that, Zilla?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Brandon Wattsman and Lee Gibson on the Facebook Live. Thanks for checking in, guys. As things start to return back to normalcy, whatever that is, guys like Neil aren't going to be home 5-6 days a week to, put these out. But I think streaming is here to stay because it's become a marketing tool. As Neil touched on, as Audio One mentioned earlier, it was, these streams are therapeutic. It's all about the connection. So I think it's going to stay. And as Neil said, it might pivot somehow, some way. It's uncharted territory for everyone. But I don't see streaming going anywhere anytime soon. But we got to monetize it. But there has to be a way in order for it to be monetized.
I agree. Geez. And there's Kinsella. What's up, Mike? Neil, that's public knowledge that the DJ who got that massive tip the other night, right? Of who it was?
I mean, if you were there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to say who it was then. But I mean, there was a guy that made, what do you make? Couple $1,000 on a live stream the other night?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not bad for sitting in your, in your living room. I mean, trust me, that guy is working. This isn't like he's just, sitting on a couch playing some records. That sounded bad because that's what Ross One is doing, but he's doing something on a totally another level. So that was not a slight of him. I'm just saying this guy's feet is bananas. So he is working. But let's go back real quick. Sydney, just shout out to Sydney, by the way. Every DJ in this chat has played Sidney Samson records. We all know that.
Riverside.
So, Sid, this is something that a good friend of a lot of us, DJ Fingers, had put up a Facebook post, and then he did a podcast about it. And it was a couple things. It was, do you feel comfortable going back to work now? Do you feel safe? And will you be asking for more money? Basically, equating it to hazard pay. Like it's more dangerous to go to work now. And there were some people that were concerned. And then, of course, me being me and not having a filter most of the time, I believe my comment was, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha ha, a raise, question mark. Now, being on the other side of the business, not as an agent, but as a club operator for most of my life, I can tell you, and I can tell all these other guys in the chat right now, I'm not afraid to say it. No, you're not getting a raise. There's just zero chance of that. Some of you will be asked to take pay cuts. Some of you maybe won't. And then it's a decision that you have to make as an artist. If you have an agent, a manager, you guys have to do this as a team, but it's ultimately your decision. And then it's a matter of, am I willing to take a pay cut to play? And look, we could have a whole podcast about this, and we should. You have to be willing to make the decision and stick by it. And you just have to be comfortable with what that decision is. Sydney, as far as, when you get to the upper echelon of DJs, it's different, but it's not that different. I think everybody takes a haircut on this. I think guys that were making a couple $1,000s for a show might be making $1,200 or $1,500 now. I think DJs that were making $50,000 a show, I think they're going to be making 30 or 25,
maybe even 10,
and even 10, I think. And I don't know what to say about the guys making multiple six figures. I don't know what's going to happen. Because there still might be the demand for them, whether it's Chainsmokers or Calvin Harris or Marshmello. I don't know. But I think it's all going to change in some way. And to touch on a comment in the chat from Audio One, safety is a major concern. You're right. I've had conversations with Neil and E-Rock, and it's, do we adjust riders to put plexiglass around the booth? To have the booth sanitized, to have a security guy at the booth that they actually have to provide, not just, say they're going to provide, as we know that happens.
I mean, let's be real. How many times have DJs that we've worked with walked into a booth only to find a whole bunch of people that they don't know and they're waiting for them? Or as soon as they come on, to find a whole bunch of people that they don't know behind them drinking off their bottle. I mean, listen, it's part of the business, but this might be a part of the business that may not have a place in the near future just because of safety concerns.
Yeah, I think
unless it's a legitimate, sorry, Justin, unless it's a legitimate concern, maybe I'm overthinking it, but for you guys that are in airplanes 2-3 days a week, traveling 5-6 hours a day, in hotel rooms that you have no control over, it almost feels like the last bastion of control that you might want is your DJ booth. But you tell me, Neil, I mean, how would you as a touring DJ approach that?
I honestly have no idea. I've been
That's my job.
Well, in a perfect world, how would you see? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
no.
Yes, Sydney, no more groupies in the booth. I mean, that includes me.
Hey, Sydney, Right in the chat what my line was to get people out of the booth.
I don't know I honestly have no idea how to, because I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I have no idea. Because you're talking about a lot of people sweating and breathing and stuff like that. Will plexiglass even work? Like, how do you even do that? Or you just bite it and then just jump in there in hopes that you come out okay.
Big shout out to Alex Madden. Speaking of keeping people out of the booth, tour manager extraordinaire. And he's a really good producer. He's not, I don't know if he's, Alex, you're not tour managing anymore, are you? I know you're making a lot of music. But yeah, good to see you, man. Sorry to interrupt, Neil. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm sorry to interrupt, and then I keep talking. Sounds about right. It's going to be, it's going to be a responsibility that the venue has to really take on. And the openers are not going to be able to have people in the booth, or they have to leave a half hour before. Headliners are going to have to be pretty strict on with their agents and say, I don't want anyone in the booth. Nobody. And that, honestly, that actually includes employees of the club too. If that's what the DJ wants, we have to make sure these guys are safe and that they feel safe. Look, the odds of someone contracting this virus, if the manager comes into the booth just to say hello, I don't know. Of course it's possible, but why take the risk? This is how you make a living. You get knocked out for a couple of weeks, you lost thousands of dollars. It's not, even more for a lot of the other guys.
Well, and there's no health insurance for DJs. There's no 401k for DJs. There's no hazard pay. So, it's it really does mean better safe than sorry. At least, being a former artist manager myself, I would definitely err on the side of caution as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm cautious, but it's not going to stop me from going out and seeing my guys when they start playing. I'll put it to you that way. Sydney.
That's $1 million he won't.
Yeah, right. So this kind of leads us into the next part of the next question we wanted to, and this isn't a real question, it's part of this last topic. What are your thoughts, guys, on, and this could be both you guys. And like I said, we don't want this to be all about DJs and nightclubs and music, but that's what we know. So we'll probably start there. But what are your thoughts on going back to work? Zilla, as someone that's not in this business?
Not at the moment.
At the moment, right? Sorry.
Part of my radio, it's not uncommon for radio guys like me to host nightclubs on occasion. And I would be hesitant. Just knowing what I'm seeing, or at least what's happening in certain other cities, and just, I'm in no rush. I don't know. It's a hard question, Justin, because there's a part of me that absolutely, being a social person, the one thing I want to do is to get out and be around, vibe with people, but at what cost? Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older. Maybe I'm, my judgment's a little bit more tempered, but I'm, it's a pass for me at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I'm having fun live streaming, but it's just too soon. But I can also be, I probably might be speaking because I'm talking from New York, where it was the epicenter.
Right.
And I saw a lot of DJs that I don't want to name talk about, their city only had 3 people that died. Why should we shut down the entire industry, their entire lives? But I've seen how bad it got. And
Neil, not naming names is no way to join a podcast, by the way.
That's why
join us tomorrow for the Not Naming Names podcast, where we name the names.
But for all the DJs out there, I'm sure they know who I'm talking about. There is a DJ producer out there that has been hardcore on pushing this. It is a conspiracy to hold us all down, and I don't know. There was like a whole thing about it. Audio, you're ballsy. You have bigger balls than I do. I'm guessing. But yeah, I got into it with him for a little bit. But I also Darth Vader might know, but
Darth Vader
but he was, I mean, these DJs were speaking on that stuff like they were, experts, but I was in the middle of it all and I saw how bad it can get. And it was tragic. I had to do things like live streaming 3 times a day just to take my mind off of it. It was a serious thing out here. So I might be scarred for because of it. And I just think it, and watching the surges from other states, I'm not trying to go through all that again. I have friends, and there's a girl that actually jumps in all of our streams that DM'd me and was like, I'm actually going through coronavirus right now. She's a nurse. It's a serious thing. You're right. It probably is unavoidable, but we can't ignore it, and it'd be stupid of us for not trying to protect us while we don't have a vaccine or any sort of method of, like, I was talking to a nurse earlier today and she was like, we don't know what to do. We don't have all the answers. So why rush? I mean, is a club worth it? Love clubs. I make all my money from clubs, but is it worth it? Can we wait a little longer?
What about strip clubs?
The funny thing is, I mean, it's not even funny. The first death that I was somewhat connected to was a security guard in Atlanta that was he was a strip club bouncer and a nightclub bouncer. I knew him from the nightclubs, and he died from hugging one of the strippers.
Ugh.
So that was the first one I've ever experienced
wow.
in the past couple months. So
shout out to James Wang in the chat.
Hey, James.
James is my neighbor.
Which, by the way, Pacers did open today here in San Diego. So if anybody does need to scratch that in.
After that story.
Today was the first day that they're open. And then just let me know where to send your flowers in the ER.
Oh, gosh. Leave it to Zilla.
What?
So, I think we're just about an hour right now, which just hit an hour. How about that?
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. And I mean, we have there's no finish line or anything like that. We can keep chatting, but we wanted to keep it around an hour, this first one.
I'm sorry. I just saw the chat. Hey, Darth, are we talking about T-Fish, the security guard for Rumor? All right. Sorry, I had to ask that.
Oh, no.
That's like the first time I've actually seen that.
Sorry, just threw me off. So yeah, man. To the chat, anybody out there have any questions you want us to talk about, chat about? Anything you want to say? We have one more segment that we kind of added to this.
We added?
Okay, I added it. And this was I was driving to the store earlier, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. The EC twins aren't in this chat, so I feel safe talking about this. I fucking hate cyclists. Okay, I don't hate a lot of things in my life, but these fucking people that put on their freaking tight spandex outfits and they drive their stupid fucking bikes in the middle of the street. Like, I want to run them over. I'm obviously not going to do that. And if it ever happens in the future, it was not on purpose. I'm just saying that for the record. But so Terry Brennan, not for you, man. You go for it. And I love the EC twins. Those are my guys. Like, I'm not bashing them. Audio. Wait, we can make that shirt, but I have a logo we're going to add to it.
Oh, that is an awesome t-shirt, actually.
Alex, I'm definitely jealous because I can't. Well, I can ride a bike, but the spandex, I don't know anyone would want to see this. So anyway, so this isn't about the cyclists because they just suck. There's nothing to really talk about them. And I'm not talking about mountain bikers. Those guys are okay. It's the ones with the thin wheels. I don't like them. We're not going to talk about them. So I had an idea for a part of the show, maybe every week at the end of the show, we talk about the things we hate. Now, I could do an entire podcast on this. For real, I could talk for an hour with no other guests with a list of things I hate, and I would probably make some people laugh. But maybe we don't do that this time. Or why don't I already gave cyclists. I did cyclists.
I'm jumping right in.
I want you to
Pineapple
jump in.
on pizza. Never understood that.
I'm
Yes.
never
Never understood that.
I can definitely go with that on that.
Yeah, that makes no sense. And they say it's Hawaiian, and I don't know any Hawaiian. I'm Hawaiian. There's no Hawaiians that eat that. Nothing.
No one looked at a delicious pizza and said, "You know what's going to make this better? Throw some pineapple on that bitch." It doesn't happen.
They're like twist.
No, absolutely not.
I didn't even know it was a thing until I moved to Idaho the first time. Okay. And I had people telling me how delicious it was. And there was a night, I will admit it, I was alone. I ordered it to taste it.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yeah. I'm born and raised in New York. I would never in a million years. I ordered it I ordered 2 pizzas, one with pineapple and then a normal one. It was fucking disgusting. So
Yeah, it's
But look
terrible.
how you categorize that.
Neil, you were not.
One
Were you? Did you think I was gonna go the other way with that?
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like,
Oh no, fuck that.
dude,
No.
don't. Like, dude, don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Look at the way-
Darth Vader, you're gonna be a guest one day. We're making that happen. I promise.
Hey, wait, I want to know from the chat, what grinds your gears?
Well, now Alex does
Wait.
not agree. Alex is out. Alex is out on the talking shit about the pizza.
Jenna says it completely makes sense. Jenna?
Oh, Terry,
Where-
this is it. This is it. T-Red, that's it, man. Keep delicious things separate. I'm with you. Like a steak Oscar? Nope. Give me a fillet over here and some crab over there. Don't put it on top. I don't want it on top.
Okay, well, you guys might actually vote against me on this one. Breakfast sausage with syrup.
all day.
Well,
All day. I'm with you, Neil.
What about a maple sausage? Maple sausage, I'm in. But there's one
Meat
sweet
shouldn't
and
be
savory.
sweet, except if barbecue ribs. Meat should not be sweet.
I disagree. I disagree. I'm sorry. But are you telling me that you've never had the awesome, like you've never taken like a moons over my hammy at 3 a.m. at your local Denny's, taken that some bitch and dunked it right into some maple syrup and just
Can we
You
make
know
an
what?
emote like this? There's got to be an emote. Like
I've got your emote swinging, Neil.
There is one combo, sweet and savory, that I like. Chicken and waffles. That's it.
Listen, you cannot be pro chicken and waffles and anti syrup and sausage. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
Wait,
look at that,
guys,
Alex.
guys.
No, see? I didn't even see that one before I brought it up.
Hey, wait, I got to turn my ring light on.
All right.
You what? Sorry,
Sheldon-
the influencer has to get off the screen for a minute and get his ring light.
Sheldon Chang just chimed in with what about Asian char siu, which is sweet
Oh, I
and
love
savory.
it. I love it.
You see, so that I can go with that. And also, shout out to TK Nguyen watching us all the way
Oh,
from Nha
TK.
Trang, Vietnam, who is watching the stream
Oh,
on Facebook.
TK.
Oh,
Miss
we
you,
all
brother.
know, we all know 2K.
We are worldwide with 13 viewers, but we are worldwide.
Man, we could have food episodes.
Why not? We could talk about everything and anything.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, Neil.
Oh, rye bread.
Nope. No. I have a loaf of Jewish rye in my cabinet right now.
Rye bread.
So
Nope.
this is I can prove this factually. I am actually allergic to rye. I break
You
out
are
anaphylaxis.
lucky.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you, audio. Thank
I
you.
haven't had it I haven't had it in a gazillion years, but I think I would enjoy it. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but I know that I'm allergic to it.
Oh, shout out to DJ Mouse from Rockaway Beach in
Mouse.
the chat.
What?
What up, Mouse? You still owe me a steak. I know you know that. I'm just breaking your balls. I don't even remember what that was from. Oh, it was like a weight loss bet like 2 years ago. Jordan,
I think I was in that one.
You were. Well, I don't know, Alex Madden. I haven't done that in a while. I did it last week. I had some Golden Grams, some Lucky Charms, and Fruity Pebbles in the same bowl.
And how is your diabetes?
I think we have a title for this part of the show. You know what grinds my gears?
Yeah.
Well,
really grinds my gears.
Alex came up with that when I started going in on the cyclists. It was a cycling pun. I'm good with a cycling pun for a segment where we talk about things we hate. I'm good with that.
You know what grinds my gears? I'm going to do the voiceover and you can use the sample. You know what grinds my gears?
Zilla, did you give us the thing you hate? You got to give us one. I know you love everybody. It's all fucking, rainbows and puppies with you. But
no,
come on.
Actually, truth be told, I am not a fan of the holidays. I'm not a fan of the holidays.
Whoa!
You are such a down.
Whoa!
What? And
you don't screen these guests, do you, Justin?
So let me tell you something. I'll give you my short list. I'm not a fan of the holidays and or the months of January, February, and March. Like you can just keep them. I don't need them. My sister said, true story.
That's Rob's sister.
The months of January, February, March, just they're throwaway. Don't need them. And I hate daylight, whichever the daylight saving time, whichever the one that makes the clocks go dark at 4 p.m, I hate that. That really grinds my gears.
That's on my list, and it's for a different reason. You know why? Because when I'm making fucking flyers and I'm doing all these things and I have to tell people what time things are, if you write 4:30 PST, you're wrong. But if you write PDT, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
I just write in parentheses West Coast time.
I know, but it's on my list. It's on my list.
That's funny. Roche says, I hate when I'm into an ASMR video and then the commercial comes in blaring all loud and aggressive. For those of us that know what ASMR videos are, congratulations.
What is ASMR?
It's those videos where the person in the video talks all sensory and there's the click clacks and the mouth sounds and
why would you watch
a cherry pie?
I didn't say I watch them. I just know what they are. Like
I know, say, why would you watch those videos?
I don't go to one. You know, it's.
I want to know why Roche watches those.
Mouse, that's awesome. By the way, down 65 pounds since we did that weight loss.
Oh, congratulations, man! That's awesome. Audio One is saying it's usually hot chicks who ASMR.
Wow.
Prove it or it didn't happen. Screenshots or it didn't happen. Jeff Long says ASMR.
What up, Jeff?
Someone butter toast in front of a mic.
Oh man, we all got to get together. I miss those New York dinners. Well, look, guys, I think we could talk about this all night. I think we got to cut this short.
Yeah.
Especially because I made everyone in my house leave, and I have like an ex-wife that I live with. Hi, everyone in the chat. Now you know that. I'm sure most people know that anyway. I have my dog who's 13, my other dog who's a lunatic, and then my son. And they went, one of my sons, and they left the house so I could do this to chat with all you people. So next time, they might all be here. Well, some of them. And then it'll be me.
We definitely have to get Roche on here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're going to put together some fun episodes with some fun topics. This is going to be good. Well, I had a blast. I don't know about you guys, but if you guys want to say something before I say something, go for it. I haven't thought of anything yet, but I'm sure I'll come up with something.
I'll jump in. First of all, shout out to Ivan Harris, who just joined us on the Facebook stream. We're wrapping up, Ivan, but
what up, Ivan? I want Ivan. Ivan, I want you on the show one night.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I think I know the episode I want you on. It's not about the Chicago versus New York pizza debate. We're not doing that one. Chicago pizza tastes yummy. It's not fucking pizza.
Right.
It's like a casserole.
It's
But-
just good food.
right. I'm
But
okay
it's
with
not
that.
a pizza. A pizza
But-
it
It's
is not.
not a pizza. It's a meal.
Ivan, I'm gonna reach out. We're gonna put something together. Thanks, Alex.
So really quick, yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be doing a podcast than with the two of you guys. So thank you for having me, Justin and Neil. Also, guys, if you're ever in San Diego, I'm not on the air right now because of quarantine. Most everybody's broadcasting from home. They didn't have enough equipment to go around. But you can find me on the internet, actually on Instagram at RobertZillaSD. Oh, thanks, Justin. You could give me a follow.
I'm like a show producer now. Anybody
I
wants
like
to hire
it.
me? I'm available.
So, and then if you ever get a chance, once I'm back on the air, I'd love for you to join me on the air at Sunny 98.1. We play nothing but 80s. So
Yes.
it's a
Finally.
whole lot of fun. So
But
that's
no,
it.
go ahead. Sorry.
That's it for me. That's all I got. Thanks for having me.
He said 80s, not
Love you, dude.
specifically yacht rock. Just
How much
so you
yacht
know.
rock do you play, Zilla? How much? Tell me.
Not a significant amount, but I'm sure
Come on,
that
man. You're supposed to be on my side here. You're supposed to say a lot. No one's gonna check. No one's gonna fact check
You know what?
this.
Actually, we play nothing but yacht rock, and it's under the Zots Yachts Rocks banner. That's what we do. So
Oh, Oh Lord.
it's on our HD3 channel. It's great.
Is
Thanks,
that an
Louis.
ASMR video
That's coming
in the
next.
making?
That's absolutely coming next.
So, well, I mean, thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more. Shout out to Sydney Audio. My sister Mel's Angels was also tuning in. Grifter,
Melanie?
with Roche. There's like a lot of people in here, and I think this has got some legs. This is gonna get. I mean, we got 12 on Twitch and a few more on Facebook. This is good. This is gonna be great. I can't wait for more grind my gear. What grinds my gears? But
That should have been the name of the podcast. We could stop. We could have cut out the first 45 minutes of the show.
Absolutely.
But if you guys are, I mean, for the people that are tuning in on Twitch, I can be found at twitch.tv/Neil Jackson if you guys want to follow me. I'm on at 10 a.m. Eastern, so 7 a.m. for everybody on the West Coast. And I just do like really chill, like SG Lewis, some singer-songwriter stuff, just like some stuff for you to wake up in the morning, drink your coffee.
That's what I do.
You know, just you may know some stuff, you may not know the stuff, but I just kind of mix it all into like jazzy old school hip hop. So yeah, I mean, thank you guys.
Yeah,
So-
man. Thanks for coming on, guys, being the first guests of the old guy in the club. And I call it a podcast. I said, I don't know what it is. I was on a friend of ours. I'm sure most of you guys know him, DJ Shoney. I was telling him that I was doing this talk show, and he's like, "Dude, that's called a podcast." And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm like 46 years old. Is it real? Is that what a podcast is? Even if there's like faces here?" So I guess it is. But anyway, I think we're gonna keep doing this. I had fun. It's good to connect with everybody in the chat, and these guys. I mean, I talk to these guys all the time, so it's just funny to kind of get together and talk shit. So what I need you guys to do, this is what I'm supposed to do at the end of this, right? Read that banner at the bottom. I just started social media accounts for the old guy in the club.
Some have
Obviously-
some don't.
No, only Twitter. Twitter is old guy in the club because it was too long with the. Everything else is the old guy in the club. So from now on, that's me. I'm the old guy in the club. Wait, I got to trademark this thing before one of you scumbags takes it.
I would be that scumbag.
I was already researching it today. I wanted to do it before we did this because, like, after this, obviously this is a massive hit. Now everyone's going to be out there trying to take it.
All 13 of them, yes.
But anyway, like, seriously, thank you guys for tuning in. I legit had fun. I know these guys did too. The old guy in the club, and eventually I'm going to have some cool like outro music and like a video, maybe a ridiculous picture of the old guy in the club.
If only we had a DJ on here that could actually do that for us.
Yeah,
Neil.
really. And chat,
Neil.
you know, let's link up. Let's try to find me a theme song for this. But
It's gonna be
again,
a yacht
thanks,
rock
guys.
song.
I don't know. That's maybe. But anyway, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
the
having
old
us.
guy in the club. Keep an eye on the socials for the next scheduled show, and we are out.